was pretty cold timing yesterday.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty cold in general. You got it.
Hello America and curling fans from Canada and Newfoundland. This is your host Ryan with you with the latest broadcast from the 2022 MoPac Mixed Team Playdowns. It's Saturday morning and we've got a triple header on tap. I've rested my pipes and I'm ready to help guide us through a full day of curling here at the Southern California Curling Center. Our featured game is a matchup between Team Mendoza from Hollywood Curling Club. They're playing with the Yellow Rocks versus Team Siggins. I just want to make sure I got that right, from Coyotes Curling. And we got Rocks in play early, and I think I'm going to be joined by someone from Coyotes Curling as soon as I can get his mic ready. Yep. So joining me in the virtual broadcast booth is Patrick McDonald's.
Morning, everybody.
So what are you seeing so far? It's still very early in this game.
Yeah, the first hand on ice that changes here, I think they're up against the boards on sheet 4. There's nobody else on 1, 2, and 3, so it might get a little frosty, but both teams are well established.
Yeah, this is going to be, I think, a really good game because this is home ice for Team Mendoza.
Yeah.
And Team Siggins is just, I think, an all-around good team.
Yeah, they've got a lot of skills. He's won Club Nationals before with Eric. Their third, Claire, she's an established junior curler. They're playing three-handed, but they're still playing good over the last few games. Yeah, I think the home field advantage would definitely go with Mendoza.
But also for Siggins, this is not their first rodeo, so they...
No, but it is their first time here at this club, and I've heard good things from them so far.
This is a pretty nice place as curling clubs in the U.S. go.
Yes. The sun's out outside and it's cold on the inside.
It's like those beer commercials, or shall we say a beverage commercial, where it's like you want it could be a beach day, it could be 75 and sunny, but as long as the drink is like 36 degrees.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this might come back a little far. Eric taking it all the way back.
It's a lot of red in the house very early for Siggins.
Mendoza looks like he's just going to start jumping on the front with some takeouts, getting rid of some stuff. Looking good. Oh, and almost got the clip on the one.
Yeah, the one right on the button.
Yeah. Well, the front's wide open. Mendoza does have the hammer.
So even though Siggins is kind of putting up the pressure early in this end, Mendoza does have a couple outs right now.
Oh, yes. This is Claire's last one. So yeah, they're technically finishing up second rocks. I think Siggins is just going to try to guard this one. Without a hammer, you got something on the butt, and you just want to, keep it safe. Very nice shot.
And it's like controlling the front center is usually a very solid defensive strategy if you don't have the hammer.
Yes. That rim, it looks like he might be trying to draw down to it. Doesn't look very heavy.
So this would be the last for Tim Mendoza? No, I'm sorry, I think this is Marissa Messier.
This is Marissa. Looks a little heavy, it's going to skate through.
I've got something.
You got the back one? All right. Slightly covered behind the yellow guard up top.
We don't have overhead cameras either available to us or in the club. That is something they're working on for the club. For my equipment, I would need like overhead apparatus, and I don't think I can check that onto Southwest for free.
No, because that would be a big ladder. Oh, okay. So here's Claire's last one. That's right, with mixed. So so Mike will have two.
Mm-hmm.
Playing three-handed, you play the 3-3-2 scenario
to get to 8 stones.
Yeah.
Which is math.
Eric doesn't look like he's sweeping too much.
It's curling up a little bit, but it's not going to over curl.
No, but if it gets by, it's going to come right down to it. Still sitting 1 and 2.
It kind of moves things around a little bit.
Yeah, it almost looks like little hit and roll over to the button. Even a thin double would look good.
So Marissa, according to her bio, started curling in 2006. And she's made 3 appearances at club nationals in 2009, 10, and 11. So following a pretty similar line to what Siggins just threw.
Great roll.
It jammed on the. Well, so for great roll for yellow, but the shot, the rock that they hit, jammed on the yellow in the back 8.
Which is okay, because now there's yellow sitting shot, and it looks like Siggins red. It's right on top of it. So if he goes after it, it might clip.
Well, especially with the turn that he's going to have to throw.
Yeah, I still like the way Mendoza's sitting right there. Got red backing it.
So he almost wants us to just slightly over curl for Siggins.
Yeah, with that broom, he's probably playing back 4 just to bump it back and get an inside roll. Mid 8 so far on sheet 4 has been about button curl, so about 3 feet.
But I guess we're not. This is not a situation where you need a finesse shot like winging a rock out of the way.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's the first end.
So this is Michael Siggins. He was a 2021 MoPac men's champion. and 2019 U.S. Club Nationals champion. And here comes the shot.
Eric staying close. Oh, it's hanging out.
It's by the guard. Oh!
Little rub. All right, well, this will give Mendoza a chance to play strong for a 2.
Do you try and just put it right on top of trying to do the same thing that Siggins just tried to do?
Well, looks like second count is just behind the 4-foot. Yeah, top 4. Make it tough for him. I know he has hammer, but in this situation, I'd almost want to just put something in the top 8. Take your 1. It's still the first end, so they're still learning the ice.
So it looks like they called it the shot that you recommended. It looks like they would probably just join to the top 4.
Yeah, with that brim, it looks like it's a little bit more. Yeah, that's a little bit more than what Siggins had.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And Siggins' last shot tipped the guard.
Yeah, so even though it pushed the guard out a little bit, I'd still shorten up that brim just a touch.
And this is Paul Mendoza's first. He started curling in 2007 and has been to several prominent events, including the Pacific International Cup, known to his friends as the Pick.
This one's definitely going to get by the guard. I'm going to bring it all the way down to it.
The weight's pretty solid.
Yeah. If they lock it onto it, I'm really happy with that shot.
So, he's kind of looking at throwing some weight at this.
He's definitely looking at the angles for sure. Nope, Eric comes down to
Eric is kind of looking at a hit and roll on the
onto the top 4, yeah.
Yeah, the top 4 and kind of roll to the center, making it hard but not impossible for Mendoza to deduce.
Yeah, at this point, Claire seems they're maybe talking about just drawing in.
You can't draw around on the left side because it's not curling up enough, I think.
Yeah, and majority of the shots have been on the other side, so yeah.
At least that's why. I mean, I haven't watched all the stones, but I didn't think it was curling up the 2 to 3 feet necessary to get to be shot on the left side.
Yeah.
But it looks like they are going to do. What do you think they're going to do?
With that broom, I would say that he's just doing a cold draw down to the shot block. Because if it does curl, how are you going to nip it out with any kind of weight?
This is kind of a tricky shot because you do have that yellow in the top 4 foot.
Yeah. If they get a little rub off of that, that might be good. Oh, here it comes. Oh, and it hung out. Definitely.
That's not great.
All right. And yellow does have hammer. So this possibly could be a 3 here. If Mendoza can nice 4 foot weight, draw to the 4 foot, and take a 3.
Because it just needs to touch the 4 foot. That red, I mean, we don't have an overhead view, so we can't tell for sure.
I don't think it's him.
Yeah. Because if it was a little closer, you might want to do like a little double tap to push that
just
red.
To push it back just a little bit.
Yeah. But here we go. This is a chance for Paul Mendoza to open with a 3 here in the first game of the morning against Team Siggins.
Nice delivery. Nice sweeping. Sweeping hard.
It looks like maybe a touch light.
A little light, but it looks like it's coming in. Boy, they're working it.
I don't think it's going to get there,
No.
but it's super
just
close.
A couple feet short. But nothing wrong with coming away with a 2.
Right, you had 2 in the pocket, so you didn't want to necessarily do anything to upset that.
Yeah.
And so the pro side miss probably would have been to be light, regardless.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the pro side miss is trademarked Russ Howard. We have to pay him a loony every time we say it on air.
Uh-oh. I don't have any of those.
I have the new Canadian $3 coin, the Troonie.
Do they really make that?
They did not make
Oh.
it.
I haven't been north of the border in a few years, so I'm not sure.
Oh, it's been since 2004 for me, 2005. Took a bit of a road trip through Toronto and across Lower Ontario.
That's a nice area. I've been up there in the summer and in the winter.
There's lots. I mean, Canada's I've only been to just parts of Canada, but just there's so many beautiful places to go, and curling happens on the prairie where there's not necessarily a lot of great places to go.
That is true. All right, let's see what Mendoza does here on their first rock.
There we go. So this is going to be the lead for Team Mendoza. Jan Gamboa, who started playing 9, 10, and 11.
With Marissa, correct?
That does match up, yes.
Looks like this might skate in.
And I had to say thank you for joining me in the booth, especially because I talked for 7 hours yesterday.
Yes, you had a long day yesterday. Looks like Siggins is calling for a corner, maybe? Try to play for their deuce.
So this is Eric Kowal, or Kowal?
Sure. I've never been able to pronounce it correctly. All right, nice corner. Mike's coming out to make sure it's there.
It's about a mid guard.
Yeah.
It's
bringing it in a little closer. Perfect corner guard.
That's the 2 to 3 zone if you're using the Furby number system, where the playing area is divided into tenths. The first area is just over the hog line is 1, the back line is 10, and now I owe Randy Furby a Troonie.
Oh. Well, your pockets better be full.
Well, the exchange rate is like 15 Canadian dollars to 1 US. So.
All right. Let's see. Mendoza looks like he's just going to come down, throw a nice little tight guard, control the front. Well, that's where he wanted it.
Yeah. That's some pretty good play. So again, we talked earlier in the first about how if you don't have the hammer, you want to control the front center, kind of above the tee line and in front of the house. And then if you do have the hammer, you want to try and generate multiple points, and so you want to try and draw play to the wings, right?
Yep. And then open the front for the skits rocks with all your up front rocks all on the wing. Okay, looks like he's coming down behind the corner.
So that's what the textbook says. How often do you play according to the textbook?
Well, if all the team, little rub. That's all right. Pull it all the way in. That's a tough question. I mean, the textbook is if you're shooting, well above 50%. If you know your lead is going to be able to throw the perfect corner and then throw the perfect draw behind it, then you play it all the time. I think that had plenty of weight on it. I think it just might have curled just enough to get a little rub. Mendoza's going to go after it.
And this is Tim Mendoza. This is Paul's brother.
I think they like it.
It's going to, I think, hit the red.
Yep.
Move the red out of play.
Now, Team Mendoza is definitely controlling the front.
So Siggins probably wants to get rid of those yellows in the top of the house, but he's going to need to get rid of the guards first.
Yeah, and that's where teams need to be patient. I almost would think coming around the corner guard and sitting at least second shot, get something in the house, and then worry about the front now.
That's a great point because like once the guards are gone, you can't use those to generate offense, obviously.
Yeah, and when a team starts clearing the front this early, a lot of people think that maybe they gave up on giving their 2, and they're just going after their 1.
So this is the second from Tim Mendoza. He has been curling since 2007. Was at the 2012 Club Nationals. Also the MoPac champion representing us at the 2017 Mixed Nationals. And he was also at he was the champion of the Summer Blockbuster Bonspiel, which is the Hollywood Bonspiel they do every summer, twice. So did he go around?
No, he tapped one of them back.
Okay.
I think with Mike clearing the front ones, he's not playing for 2 anymore.
So this is the second, essentially the second of the 5 for Team Siggins. They're playing three-handed as you mentioned, and so I don't quite know which player just threw that rock.
That was Claire Blasky.
Oh, that was Claire. Okay, great.
A good established junior curler in her own right, now a student at ASU.
So that would mean that it's Kimber Maroney, the lead, who is not able to make the trip.
Yeah, she's at home. Wish her well.
And also, Michael Siggins asked me to pass along his well wishes to his teammate.
Yeah. All right, Marissa's standing with her arms folded. Not sure if that means she's happy with it or... Oh, it's coming down. Nice little raise, maybe. Okay.
So the front area has changed. I mean, right now it looks like Mendoza has a pretty solid advantage by having 2 in the house. But
yes, but they're behind the tee line, so Mike has a lot of options right now.
And he also has those guards that can also be run in or...
Especially the top one that's on the top 12. Looks like he's going to... Nope, he's falling off the sweep.
Looks like a draw. It's heavy, though.
It's got a curl, yeah. It's got a curl.
So it's a heavy draw. I think he wanted to kind of take out that shot rock on the...
And just kind of sit inside the 4-foot area.
Yeah. But it did not curl enough, and it went through.
Mendoza is calling for the top 8.
And that's just to provide cover.
Yep. It looks like the top red is biting.
Mm-hmm.
So anything right now on the center line, top 12, he's taking control with the hand for sure. And it is tough to play three-handed and with 8 rocks, especially with having 2 to 3 games in a day.
Now I'm a relatively new player, like 6 years under my belt, which is not that's medium length right now, given how many new curlers are in the U.S. But I feel like when you're playing three-handed, you have an extra shot.
Yes, studies do say that over in Europe they did work a lot of stats with 3-person teams, and the stats are quite a bit higher because you get that 3rd rock in, you get in a groove, and the stats are definitely a lot better.
And that's for the shot, though. I mean, I think everything else around the game is the challenge, because if you don't have anyone helping to sweep, and
well, yeah, that's the other thing too. Unless you pop up and help sweep, you definitely got to be a little bit more precise.
Right, and as you're saying, the study shows that you are a little bit more precise.
Yeah. Well, he looks like he's going to guard that hole, even though Mike's got some rocks up front to tap back, but Mendoza definitely looks like he's just going to guard those back line weight yellows.
So he doesn't want to try and go through the port at this point?
No, I think Team Mendoza is just going to clog that front, put up a center line guard right in front of those two reds.
Because my thought would be that you would, if you put a rock like in the 8 foot, maybe top of the 4 foot, that would prevent the possible run backs. Or I mean, you had the run backs, but it would just run it onto the yellow one.
Yeah, but when it's on the center line with the two reds, the only way to do a run back would definitely go straight back, and I think that does not look like it's curling.
No.
All right, so Mike's got a decision to make.
Although it does look to block off one run back pass.
Yeah, but that's a pretty big hole.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mike, if he hits it on the left side of that rock, he might get both. Shooter might roll out, but
you're just trying to also open up the house, and when you have the hammer, the other thing you want to do at the very least is make sure that your skip has a path
to the, yep, definitely.
A path to the button to score, yeah.
Well, with that broom, he's definitely going after it. Hit and stick with a slight roll behind the two red guards.
Yeah, it looks like about 4 inches.
And it looks like from that one angle, the back yellow is exposed as well, so Mike has 2 rocks.
Definitely took an extra second to make sure he was lined up. Here we go. Sweepers are on it. Or sweeper on it. It's curling up pretty. Oh, there's somebody over
like
curling.
Rub. Oh. Tough break. All right. Well, that puts Team Mendoza back into the driver's seat.
And so now kind of put it top 8, touching the 12 foot where they're looking at.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind top 12, top 8, just off center line. Sit 3. And then the path to the button is completely closed off. Definitely going to make it tough for Team Siggins.
How are the stones curling on the right side toward the center?
I
don't think we've seen a lot of shots.
No, you haven't. But I think if you throw the right weight, and that's one of the things about sheet 4 that I've been noticing is that if you're 2 feet heavy, it hangs. If you're 2 feet, 3 feet light, it does have that curl. And Rex is not calling anything, so they're happy with the weight.
Looks like it might be a little heavier than what they wanted.
Yeah, this is going to come right down to it.
So maybe just lock it right on if they can.
Ooh, all right.
So it was just a foot heavy.
Yeah. But it's nice though.
Yeah.
Because it looks like if he noses, he can draw down. But if you tried to cut him down, this is the tough choice. Do you draw against 3, or do you try to cut your loss and cut him down to 1? If he knows that top yellow, 2 yellows are gone, but I don't think he would outcount that back yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So Mike's going for the open draw to the 4 foot to cut him down.
Well, and one thing I was talking about on a previous broadcast, and I'm sure we chatted about it before, is that you kind of enter an end and you kind of look to see what strategy you want. And so, like, ideally, if you have the hammer, you want to score 2, but then like what's the risk you want to do? Do you want to if you go all in, you might give up a lot, or do you just want to just get a steal of 1 is an acceptable outcome, even though it's not ideal.
Yeah, when you have hammer, you're playing for 2, but depending on what the other team does, you got to know when to switch gears.
Oh.
And there was a little rub, and it looks like Mendoza is
That's 3.
gonna get 3. All right.
Also, it looks like Siggins' stones are over curling.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, but to go back to that, good skips and teams really want to play for the 2. And if they're see that they're not going to get there too. They switch gears more than often, probably the second stone, or if you're still playing aggressive, the third's first stone to guarantee your one. So strategy changes a lot throughout the end.
Although a really good team is just kind of, they have a plan of mind entering the end, but then just being able to adjust as the end develops.
Yep.
So right now it's an early 5-0 lead for Team Mendoza over Siggins. We have another game on the ice. It's early yet, but that is Team Howells versus Team Maxey, I believe. I know people now. I've been here long enough. And it looks like, I don't know which color it is. Oh, red is Howells, I believe, but I'll double check that.
I can't tell, nobody's in the hat.
Have the schedule. So red is Howells.
Okay.
So it looks like Maxey got a 1 in the first.
But Howell was throwing first off, so that means they scored. And the score may not have been put up.
Okay. Well, we'll keep you updated. So there's 6 teams in the tournament. We set up for 7, and then one of the teams unfortunately had to withdraw because of what's been going on with the coronavirus. So with a 7-team format, you can only have 6 teams play at a time. So every team had a bye, and then one of the teams withdrew. So now most teams have 2 byes in this tournament.
2 byes, yeah.
Because when they were playing the team that withdrew, they basically there's no game. We tried to broadcast one of the games for the teams that was missing, and it was not super interesting.
Over on sheet 5, they put up the score. It looks like Howell got 2.
So it's 2-1 Howells entering the third end. Back on our feature sheets. Looks like Mendoza tapped the red in a little bit. Siggins, does he want to try and kind of guard that up, kind of create
I don't necessarily think he's guarding the rod. I think he's throwing a tight guard to control the front.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a belated corner guard.
Yeah, after 2 ends and you're down 5, you got to play so aggressive to get back into it.
So he's drawing around the centers.
There you go.
It creates a bit of a pocket, it looks like, for Mendoza.
Doubles there. And I think being 5 up, I think Team Mendoza right now is just going to, if they can see the red rock, they're just going to go after it.
Now they have some house money to play with.
That's it.
So you have a lot of experience with curling, but you're here, I don't know if this is a unique role for you, but you're here as a coach this weekend.
Yes, I am. Great double by Team Mendoza. Yes, I'm coaching my daughter's team, Andy McDonald. Team McDonald is 3, I'm sorry.
3 and 1.
They're 3 and 1, but they're 3 different clubs in the MoPac region. They seem to be playing well. I've been coaching Andy now since she started going to nationals, on and off. This will be her last year in U21, so she's going for broke. And her and her team that's playing today decided to go for broke and play as many events as they can, mixed doubles, and U21.
Oh, that's great. I just taking advantage of every opportunity.
Yeah. I just got my dates for wheelchair mixed double nationals. It's going to be in Kettle Moraine, March. Louisiana on the 30th to coach Team MoPac for the U18 Girls Nationals.
I've heard how Fort Wayne established a curling club. That was a pretty good story.
Yeah, I haven't been to the new facility, but I hear it is an amazing club. Little draw. Looks like Siggins' last rock kind of just skated through a little bit.
So Mendoza is definitely controlling the front of the house.
Yeah, this end is definitely not turning out the way Team Siggins wanted.
Although, it looks like there's some hit and roll opportunities perhaps, although Siggins is also looking at maybe clearing the guards.
Yeah, right now he's got to do something to make sure he gets that one.
Mm-hmm.
So clearing the front. This is cleared. They still 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're. Or at least get your one. Oh, there you go.
So it ran the guard into the house and knocked one of the yellows out of play.
Yeah, and now they're close together.
So there's now a pocket for Siggins to
do something, but it looks like Team Mendoza is just going to throw up a guard and close off that whole side. I mean, it's leaving the left side open, but or if you're coming towards the house, the right side. Yeah, he's just going to close down that one side of the sheet.
So Jen is sweeping?
Yeah, not very hard, so I think they might be happy with this.
I saw it can be a little heavy. It's going to maybe tap one of theirs closer.
Take that one all the way back, Mr. Siggins.
It's going to go through, out of play.
All right. Well, still 2 yellows.
The double's slightly harder now.
Yeah, they look pretty flat, but Eric can throw some weight. Oh, it's Claire's last one. I'm sorry.
So, in addition to going to ASU, she's apparently studying astrophysics.
Yes, and she actually had her first paper published a few months ago. Yes, she is well on her way being successful in life. Ooh. Hit that one a little fat. Leaves it exposed.
It's kind of close to the yellow, so like a slight miss by Mendoza could mix things up a little bit.
Yep. He looked like he just called for normal. So yeah, as long as he noses it or gets onto the inside of it, he'll be in control of the front.
So it looks like it's going to be, it's going to hit on the right side.
Oh, and did it. Well, there you go.
Not bad, though.
All right. Team Siggins has a path to the button.
But it's a pretty wide open house, and so...
Yeah, it's wide open.
So there's kind of different ways of playing your rocks or placing your rocks. And I haven't gone over in this tournament, but there's like aggressive play and there's defensive play. And what how they sound is not necessarily how it looks on the ice.
Yeah, and Mike is playing really aggressive right now. He's still playing first two, coming around the corner guard.
But so if you don't have the hammer to be aggressive, is to have a lot of rocks in play, because it increases the risk of it increases the risk of giving up a lot of points, but also increases your chance of scoring a lot of points. Playing defensive is keeping the sheet as clean as possible, and so this is now kind of shifted into the more defensive end for Mendoza.
Yeah, and Claire's rock looked like it skated through. Marissa didn't even have to sweep it.
She just has a broom down.
Yeah. Looks like Team Mendoza's going to draw in behind their guard on the side that nobody's thrown on in a while. So let's see what happens.
Well, sometimes if you have a chance to kind of, if you have an extra shot as you were, or you can choose 50-50 one way or the other, you might choose a different path just to see how it reacts.
I haven't seen a rock thrown on this side, so we'll see what it does. Oh, they're sweeping.
Oops. Changed the wrong view. Doing too many things at once. Paul Mendoza, in addition to going to the pick in 2010 and 2015, he's been to Club Nationals in 2012, Arena Nationals in 2013 and 15, and was the MoPac champion representing the U.S. at mixed. Well, no, he is representing MoPac at the U.S. Mixed Nationals in 2017.
Looks like Mike's going to go down the same side.
One of the exciting things about this is that this does lead to a world championship.
Yes, it does. The team here will continue on at Nationals and have a chance to get to those world championships.
Should they take place?
Yeah, should. Date to be determined.
Unfortunately, some of the world events that don't lead in Olympic gold medals or Paralympic gold medals have been kind of put to the back burner sometimes by the World Curling Federation, just because there's so many things going on.
Yeah.
And this one is going to be a little heavy, it looks like, and it actually might go all the way through. It does. Oh, it's touching the back line, it looks like.
I don't think it's touching the house.
Well, her head's in the way.
Yeah, and I don't know if everybody knows, the World Championship B for juniors was canceled. So that puts Team Strauss, Delaney Strauss, into the Junior World Championships. So congratulations to her team.
Do they choose to just take the next higher seeds as automatic qualifiers?
Yep. All right. Team Mendoza decided to go down the other side.
Well, this one looks like it's over curling.
They're sweeping it to keep it straight. It looks like it's by.
And it is.
Ooh. All right, this is making it tough for Team Siggins.
So this, I think, is the last shot.
Yep.
1 second. Counting stones. Yes, it is. So basically, Siggins needs to either outcount that yellow or get that yellow to go away and stick around, or they could try and blank and see.
That's what it looks like they're going to try. It's got the brim pretty tight. If they can clip that and blank it, I think Mike's going to go back to playing really aggressive to get back into this game.
Well, here we go. This is. Oh, he's resetting. He's talking it over with Eric, it looks like. Some notes about Mr. Siggins. He's the 2021 MoPac Men's Champion, the 2019 U.S. Club Nationals Champion, and now his shot's underway. So now they're sweeping it. Oh, it looks like it's over curling.
Looks like, yeah. Oh, so close. Well, Robin's curling.
So I wonder, I mean, everyone, like, all the teams get to practice with their rots that they play. But, sometimes like 10 minutes before a game might not be enough. Are the rots just, are they cutting a little bit more for Siggins?
Yeah, they can. And that's the team's personal opinion of doing the pregame practice. A lot of teams will just throw their stones up and back down the draw line just to break down the ice. Other teams really focus on getting times. So I'm not sure what Team Siggins likes to do. But yeah, it seems that Yellow Rocks seem to be curling a little bit.
And so that was a steal of one, right?
Yep.
So I'm just going to update the scoreboard. It is a 6-0 in favor of Team Mendoza over Siggins as we head into the fourth end. It's the fourth of 8 possible ends. That's one of the few variations between a mixed team and the normal 4-person format.
And it looks like Team Maxi got a 2 and is now leading 3-2.
Over Howells.
Going into the fourth.
And we are now underway, back on our feature sheets. Live streaming of this and other regional competitions is powered by the 18 clubs and 1,500 members of the Mountain Pacific Curling Association. Our mission serves to grow curling and foster competition in Arizona, California, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Utah. Visit MoPacCA.org today to find a curling club near you or for help starting a club in your community.
Well, it looks like Mike's calling for the corner, which is standard for trying to get 2 or more.
This one's coming up a little light, it looks like. This is probably going to be a high to mid guard.
I'm surprised that Team Mendoza threw a guard. When you're up 6, I'd almost throw it to the button, top 4, they call it the sweet spot, and start making it really tough for Team Siggins.
Well, sometimes, obviously this is a highly competitive game, but if you find yourself in a position where you can work on some things, like is this a situation where you might want to try different strategies, or different shot techniques, just to make sure everyone's on?
I think a lot of teams will do that, but sometimes when you do that, your lead can get away from you, and it allows the other team to jump back in. But this is the fourth end, down 6. It's only 8 ends, not 10. I think I would stick to keeping dominance and keeping it tough for the team that has to play really hard.
Just keep the gas on the pedal.
Yep.
This one's going to house is going to be, I think, around T-line, a little heavy. But it looks like Siggins wanted it to go a little further back in the house.
Yeah.
Maybe to trill a little more.
To that and to bring it back more, because if you would have let that go, it probably would have been just behind button, back 4. That would give Team Mendoza something to sit on, give it some backing.
And that's something that a skip has to decide on the fly, whether it's like, okay, this is not exactly going where I want it to go.
Yeah, and I'll bring it back farther, because now if Team Mendoza happened to be a little heavy and came down and sat on that, there would still be plenty of room in front of the T line. And
yeah, it looks like that's what's going to happen.
It looks like hack weight and a perfect takeout. All right, so now Team Siggins has something to sit on.
And so they're all kind of using similar lines to get to that spot behind the button.
In sheet 4, like I was saying earlier, if you don't have the right T-line weight, it's either going to hang out or it's going to overcurl. Sheet 4 has been finicky all week.
Is there anything they're doing with the ice? Are they doing any sort of like is it dishing or whatever? They kind of build up the edges, or they?
Well, I talked to the ice guys and they said that they've been doing the same routine. And the first day, sheet 4 actually curled and was pretty quick. And then the second day, it had a lot of fall lines, negative ice, and wasn't as quick. So it was hard to read, but today it looks like they fixed it and it's back to curling and seems to be pretty quick.
So making ice, curling ice is a mystic art. It's also a science. It's like the Mendoza trashed on the guard.
All right.
But
that gives Team Siggins some options now.
yeah. Mendoza looks to be sitting 2, maybe 3.
No, there's a red one right there. Siggins is in the top.
Oh, I see.
Right
Yeah,
there.
Siggins moved.
It looks like the back yellow is still shot. I like this. Little red to get some separation. Maybe shooter will roll behind the far yellow, and the one that he clips will go behind the yellow on the left.
And this is Claire's shot.
Not a lot of sweeping, so Mike might like it.
It's been hit on the just right of the center from this view.
A little heavy.
And it bumps that red through the house. So they basically just kind of traded their rocks, their red rocks.
Yeah.
But also they also moved that red a little bit out further in the open. That red was pretty open to begin with.
Yeah. Looks like Team Mendoza's calling for half weight. Hit it on the inside, flip over and top of their shot rod.
So it's going to maybe hit on the right side.
Flip over. Oh, okay.
Just
to the nose.
Yep, the nose hit close to it. So for people who don't necessarily, for people who only just watch the Olympics or the national championships, at the world level there are A tiers and B tiers for everything outside of the main world championships, essentially.
Yes.
And so if you most teams want to be in the A bracket, but if you are in the bottom at the end of the event, you get dropped into the B tournament.
Yep.
And then in Europe, they actually have like a C level.
Yes, they do.
And you can fight your way back up into the A tier, but it's a lot of work.
Yes, it's a lot of work. Oh, perfect rub. Feathered it.
Oh, and it's going to be very close to being on top of that the yellow that's in the back of the floor.
Well, there is about a rock of separation.
Mm-hmm.
I would say up 6. You hit that just off nose, and you're going to lose the back yellow, but the red will definitely be gone.
So the way the World Curling Federation has set up these different tiers is that even if you fall into the B or C bracket, you have a chance to win your way up to the A's in that year, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And so the C's would go first in Europe, and then the B's would happen everywhere. Then if you win the B's, you get to go back in the A's and play in the A's. That's pretty decent.
Left the reds. Mike has a tough option, but it's still there. Yeah, and if you're in the C's, I think the C events at the World is kind of like a sign up and go. It's for those countries that are just starting to establish curling. And then they have to win that to get into the B's. And like you said, the bottom 2 or 3 in the A's drop down to the B's, and the top 2 or 3 in the B's go up to the A's. And it's a lot of hard work.
And, on a positive note, Team USA, the Paralympic team, had to kind of go that route to be able to qualify for the Paralympics.
Yes. A couple years ago, they got into the last handful of the last round robin game they lost in Scotland, and a few other teams, and it ended up being like a 4-team cluster at the bottom. And when the tiebreaker scenario came about, they got dropped down into relegation rounds. And then the following year, they had a tough year in the B's. They played well, and they regrouped them. Oh man, they regrouped. They got back on track. They got the gold at Worlds B, and now they are on their way to the Paralympics, and they're,
Yeah.
or I'm sorry, the last Worlds, the practice event. So on Paralympic and Olympic year, the World Championship for wheelchair is always at the Olympic and Paralympic site as a test run. And they went to Beijing, got a fourth, played for a medal, and they're going to be right there in the top 5 in standings, and hopefully they'll work their way through to their medal rounds again. Oh, and it clipped.
They got the double though.
Oh. Well, Team Mendoza's playing really well today.
Oh.
I'll never get up if that happens. I'll never get up. Oh my God. I can feel this foot going.
So they're looking things over.
Yeah, I know.
So at Siggins, they have one in the house, but it looks like it's second shot in the back of the house, which is not a great position.
Yeah, the yellow on the right looks like it's out counting it.
Yeah, and I think there's another playing the shot rock. So actually, yellow was 1 and 2, and
Yeah.
Siggins was 3. And I think, are they just going to try and hit and roll, or he has 2 shots. This is the first of his 2 skip stones.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
He definitely has to make something happen here. Well, if he hits and rolls either way, he's got some coverage if he can get a roll. If he hits and sticks and is exposed, then
Just,
roll it all the way.
ooh, oh, it over rolls.
Oh, no. It's shot rock. It's covered.
That's true.
All right. So now Team Mendoza has a choice to.
When you get to the edges, sometimes I think it's a little harder to get to get around stuff, to get to stuff on the edges.
In the camera angle, it looks like shot rock is exposed, but I don't think it is.
It looks pretty covered actually now that I look at it more closely. So I don't think I asked you this last time we were chatting in Arizona, but how did you get started with curling?
I'm a summer sport player, table tennis and shooting, back in the mid-2000s, and I wanted to be that double sport player, so I needed a Winter Olympic. And back then, the Paralympics only had 5 sports, and one of them is curling, and I just fell in love with it after my first drop, and pretty much have been curling ever since. All right, Mendoza's rock is on the way.
Looks like they just want to draw, I think maybe to draw behind the cover, and
I think they're just drawing to the button, leaving it exposed. Oh.
it is going to be light.
Oh. All right. So now it looks like that yellow that they're standing behind is out counting the one in the back. I think if he goes after that, Claire's double checking it. They hit and stick and possibly roll to the inside. Mike might be able to get back into the game with getting a 3.
Are there any risks to trying to go after that yellow on the right edge?
No, I don't think there's too much. At this point, if the red one in the back is out counting the top yellow on the 12-foot, Mike's sitting 1 and 3. All he's got to do is hit that yellow. Even if he rolls out, he gets 2.
And there's not a huge risk of like running that yellow onto the red in the back.
If the rock hangs outside and clips the outside, which it doesn't look like it's going to do, looks like this might be a decent shot. Stick around.
It rolls out.
Well,
Well, it's the end of the end.
They're clearing it already, so that means that it was 2 for Team Siggins. All right, down 4 with 4 to play. It's I'd say it's a game now.
All right, we're going to take a 5-minute break. We're gonna hit pause as well, and we'll rejoin you in 5 minutes. But before we let's do it on the Howells Maxi game. Looking at sheet 5. You scored one more? All right. With Maxi just said he scored more. So yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to be
4 to 2.
looks like it. Yeah, 4 to 2 Maxi over Howells on the other sheet. And so we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thank you so much for tuning in to the 2022 MoPac Mixed Team Playdowns at the Southern California Curling Center. We'll be right back. Looks like we're about ready to get underway with the second half of our 8th game this morning between Team Siggins of Coyotes Curling Club the Red Rocks versus Team If you or your business would like to become a sponsor for MoPac, our competitions, or our live streaming service, visit mopacca.org and click on the contact link on the right-hand side of the page. Rocks in play, we are underway as Team Siggins got on the board in the fourth, making it a 6-2 game. Team Mendoza does have the hammer now for the first time since the first end, I believe. This is the lead rock coming from the Mendoza lead, Jan Gamboa. In addition to competing at Club Nationals, she was at the Pacific International Cup, the PIC, in 2010-12. And then also the 2012 Glen Hill Ladies International. Was also at the 2015 Arena Nationals. And the 2017 Mixed Nationals as the champion from our region, MoPac. This is the rock coming down now for the first for Team Siggins, the acting first. That's Eric Kowal. He was the 2021 MoPac Men's Champion and the 2019 U.S. Club Nationals Champion. Additionally, according to some notes I was provided, he was on the first MoPac team to win a game at the World Curling Tour and works in aerospace. So it's setting up to be a pretty interesting end so far. We got Siggins controlling the center, and Mendoza has a rock touching the 12 foot on the right side. So Mendoza looks to have been trying to draw towards the center. Taps the red back towards the top of the button. So Team Siggins is playing down a member. Their lead, Kimber Maroney, was unfortunately unable to make the trip because of coronavirus issues. We wish her well, as does her skip, Michael Siggins. This shot coming from Eric is going to be, it looks like, another guard near the center. This is the first game of a triple header, the last 3 games of our round robin between the 6 teams participating in the tournament. I think I need to look at the protocols to be sure, but we would look at the standings at the end of the round robin to see if there is a clear winner and a clear runner-up. If there's a tie at either of those levels, I think there would be a tiebreaker. And we have 2 tiebreaker slots in the morning. And if only 1 tiebreaker is needed, we would only have 1 tiebreaker time. Tiebreaker time. So it looks like Mendoza cleared one of the guards. And now I think Siggins is now playing to the rocks in the house. And so they do play toward the house. It does tap the yellow back toward the 4 foot on the right, but red is still shot. So some other information about Tim Mendoza, the second for Team Mendoza. He's been curling since 2007. It looks like he's going to clear the guard. The shooter's not going to stick around. So now the front is pretty open. I wouldn't necessarily say that Siggins is going to steal this end, but it looks like he's in a good position to steal, or at least make it a lot harder for Mendoza to get a point out of this end. Looks like they wanted to develop a hit. I think pretty close to nose, but it's hanging out there. And it sails by. So this does create an opportunity for Mendoza. This is Marissa Messier. And her biography is very similar to Jen Gamboa's in terms of curling competitions. She started curling in '06, has been to Club Nationals 3 times, was at the Pick 3 times, was at the 2012 Glen Hill Ladies International. And it also says that she was at the 2013 International Tankard, which I think is a subset of the Pick. I could be wrong.
I'm not sure on that. Sorry, my voice is getting a little raspy. My throat's got a little tickle in it doing all this talking.
You didn't want to talk for 7 hours without any water like
I don't know.
yesterday?
I don't know how you do it. But sorry, I'm late. I just got a bad phone call. A good friend of ours, husband, had a spinal cord infection, and now can't use his legs at all. They had surgery. They say he might get some feeling and might be able to walk again, but yeah, an infection.
That's very unfortunate.
All right, what do we have here?
So it looks like Siggins did some pretty good work at clearing out some of the Mendoza yellows in the house. And I think Mendoza, wants to kind of return the favor and get rid of at least the red shot rock. But it looks like it's a little, no, oh, it did crash on the yellow.
All right.
At the top, but
Well,
or the red.
50-50 there?
Yeah.
Well, if Team Siggins can steal here, it's definitely going to be a game.
Well, the refs have really moved around a lot because the Siggins not having the hammer was controlling the front area in the house and above, and then a couple of rocks went into the house, and they started trying to clear those out, and it's now kind of shifted around.
Mm-hmm.
So now we have 2 Mendoza stones on the right side of the house, and we have 1 red shot rock. And I think Siggins just wants to kind of put one in the top 12 or top 8.
Yeah, with Team Mendoza having a hammer, he definitely needs to. Ooh.
This is going to be light.
And it looks like a little over curl. And with that high of a guard, it'll definitely have enough room to curl by it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks to be a pretty straightforward decision for Mendoza as he swiftly slides to the hat. Just get rid of that red, and I think now the possibility for Mendoza to score multiple points is available.
Yeah, that definitely got it back on the table.
So Paul Mendoza's shot's underway. It's hanging out there.
It's hanging. It's hanging.
Oh, this is
hanging.
They tried to coax it over. Oh my goodness. So now the door closes slightly. Might still be ajar, but
Mike's deciding to either throw another guard and close off that side, but it also looked like he was tapping on the top 8 to maybe outcount the yellow on the right. If he does that, he's going to be in a good position to steal and really get back in the game with just a few ends left.
So I think top 8, but also if it is like just a smidge heavy and it locks onto that red, that's also good.
If it locks onto it, then it'd definitely be a little hard for Team Mendoza to get them both.
But you also don't necessarily want to be at an angle. I think it needs to be right
it needs
on
to be
top.
right on top of it. It looks like it's curling in nice. Eric's sweeping pretty hard to get it all the way there. I think it has plenty. It's going to get right on top of it. Claire finishes it off.
That's what he dialed up.
Yes, great shot. I'll give that 100%.
a 4 out of 4 or a 5 out of 5?
Definitely.
So for people watching, when you watch the TV broadcast and they say, the skip is throwing 85%, every shot is scored on a point system from 0 to 4 or 0 to 5.
Yep.
And then they add those up and just do simple math. It's like, if he threw, 10 shots and they were all 4s, then he threw 100%. And yeah.
It's really tight broom. I think if he just barely gets by that top guard and gets a good chunk of that top red, he might flip the back one and get them both, but...
Well, this is a high difficulty shot.
Yes, it is. If he gets the top one, Siggins steals 1 instead of 2. Oh, it's coming in. It's coming in.
Outside.
It's coming in.
Gonna get 1.
All right.
But not a bad outcome. You're still playing with a little house money.
Yeah.
Although Siggins is kind of clawing his way in. So it's a steal of 1 for Team
6-3 with a couple to go.
Yep.
I would say it's a game.
Well, the thing, I'm pretty sure we definitely talked about this in Coyotes, but if you're down by a lot of points, you don't need to get them all back at once.
Nope.
I mean, especially early in the game. If it's the 8th or 10th end, you kind of have to.
Yeah, and then you're playing for the 3 and the 4s, but with 3 ends to go, down 3, it's very doable. Keep doing what you're doing. Steal 1 each game or each end, and if you get lucky with a couple mistakes by either team, tied up, coming home in the last end isn't a bad thing.
Gonna see if I can check out the score on the Maxie Howells game. Maxie Howells is also the name of my hard-nosed detective character in my novel I'm writing.
Really?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Maxie Howells. In the case of the purloined piglet. I can't see the scoreboard.
Oh, because everybody's in the way.
Yep. So as soon as we know, I'll let you know. Or Maxie Howell to let you know. All right. So looks like Siggins put up a guard.
Yep. Looks like it's 4-2 Maxie.
Are they still playing the 5th end?
Yeah, they're finishing up the 5th end now.
Oh, okay.
In the rocks.
So Maxie stole another point.
Yes, they did. All right.
So it's 5-2. Back in our feature sheet game, it looks like Mendoza's shot went a little long and settled in the back 12 on the left side.
Eric's first rock, I believe.
This would be his second.
Is that his second?
Yeah,
Sorry, I was kind of looking at the Maxi scoreboard and missed how many rocks were up.
So this is so he put up a center guard with his first shot and then draws around for a second. It looks to be, I'm going to say, about 40% open, perhaps.
Yeah. I think you could see about a quarter of it for sure.
So one curling trick I read about is that when you are estimating how open a stone is, you do it by fifths.
Fifths?
Yes, because
Okay.
it kind of forces you to think: is it more or less than half, and if so, is it closer to fully open or not?
Yellow gets a little rub, but brings it on.
The thinking is that if you ask generally, the person looking at this situation is going to say, oh, it's half exposed. They're almost always going to say half, even if it's not. So it's like, okay, so like be a little bit more specific. Is it closer to being fully covered, or is it closer to being fully open and stuff? So
Yeah, we've always done the quarters. Yeah, I can see a half of it or quarter of it. But I guess you could be more precise when you got sweeping. Oh, Eric got up to help. Looks like it overcurled. Looked like Mike wanted it to be at the top of the house, but he might get what he wanted anyway.
Trading some staggered center darts.
Alright. Mendoza's going to be peeling the front.
That's a pretty good setup. I mean, so if you don't have the hammer, that's, I think, a pretty good way to set up your center guards and being in the house. Talking about the test book, I think I saw a photo of that.
Looks like it's
Gonna get one of the guards.
oh boy, that curled quite a bit. Yeah, curled the one. Don't jam on the other one. Okay. All right, Mike's got, looks like he's just going to keep protecting that shot rock. Steal one, steal one, steal one, tie game.
So what is Blasky doing with this shot? Just putting the guard back up?
Yeah. Maybe a little offset this time. Definitely going to close down that right side. Going to play a little rub, but not too much.
Now there's a
nice
pocket, a small pocket. Or is that a bigger pocket, I guess?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a pocket, but some teams might want to go after that and get both of them, but if you do, shooter's going to still be a guard, and it looks like the one that he's standing the one on the left might jam on the yellow, so I think he's just going to pick the one. Ooh, he
Ends up
did get
doubling
both, but like I said, the shooter stays there for another perfect guard, but now there's only one.
Well, then also Mendoza has the possibility of running that back.
And that's the bad thing. It is Mendoza's guard. Mike's just going to keep throwing up the high guards.
When also that high guard, I would say it's mostly covering the shot rock, but there's the left edge of the shot rock that might be accessible. Maybe if you throw like a backline to hack weight shot towards it, perhaps. If it curls up.
Even back house weight, just to nub it to the back of the house, wouldn't be too bad. Well, might be a little heavy. If it gets by, it's going to come right down to it.
And it does. Ooh. So now
that sets up a double.
yeah. Where did you hit it?
I think right on the right side of it, because then the left one would go straight left, and then the top red would probably come straight back. So it looked like they're close enough to do that.
Are they going to run the yellow into the pocket?
That's what he looked like he was talking about.
It looks like it's going to hit it. It's going to move the guard, but it's not going to run it back. Ooh.
Well, it pushes another yellow in.
And those yellows on the left side are pretty covered. I mean, the top one's not as much.
Looks like Mike's going to do a little tap, get some separation.
I guess it depends on the level of play, but would you want to put one like right into the pile and just like make it a larger mass of rocks because it's harder to move that much granite around?
Yeah, and if you do that, it's got to be perfect, or all three of them would be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So it looks like he called back line, little rub on the left one, get some separation, and then Mendoza would have to pick and choose, and it's harder to do, unless it's a completely open draw. Eric's sweeping hard.
Looks like it's curling.
Yeah, it is. Looks like he's going to get the outside one.
Oh, it's going to hit the red on the right pretty solidly.
Oh, and it locks onto that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be hard for Team Mendoza to get that top red out. They are offset a little bit. This is going to have to be like peel weight.
Well, they have. Looks like Mendoza has 3 stones left, so they have at least one rock to unlock it, and then they can try and.
Yep. They still have time.
Yeah.
Looking good.
Sweepers are off it now. They've got the one. The yellow is not. There's some separation between the yellow and the red shot rock that's right on the button. So Siggins looks like they'd want to maybe put one red on top of their red shot rock.
Just in front of the yellow, offset. So that way, if Mendoza comes down and tries to hit again, the yellow will go yes. If he puts it right there, the back red shot, it's pretty safe to say it might stay there, but it's got to be a perfect. I mean, you might as well just pick up the rock and take it down there and place it yourself.
Can we do that?
I don't know if the officials are bribable.
There's some fun spiels where I don't know if they allow just put the rock wherever you want, but they have a situation where you can do like a kick, or you can throw it in from the corner of the playing end hog line and stuff.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
All right, Mike has a tough shot, but he's well on his way of getting back into this thing.
One of the nice things about this event is that everyone has really nice deliveries, as far as I can tell. I may have seen a couple of bobbles and wobbles, but not too many.
Well, we had one major fall yesterday, but that was the ice guy.
So it looks like he did what you suggested.
Yeah, because I don't think it's close.
So this is the first of 2 skip stones for Paul Mendoza. So they do have a chance to kind of maybe knock some stuff around.
Yeah. Well, it's possible.
Do you go for finesse, or do you go for like the dynamite?
If he hits it in the right spot, heavier the better.
Mm-hmm.
Shooter looks like it. If he hits it just off nose to the right towards the broom, I think the yellow might clip the back one, but shooter definitely would be staying around.
Well, here we go. This is Paul Mendoza's first here in the 6th.
Oh, it's coming. It's got some heat on it.
It's going to hit the red on the left side. Ooh, wow.
And grab the red one in the back. Cleared the house.
Wow, that's a great highlight. Let's see if replay works. No, let's see.
Oh, it's coming. It's got some heat on it.
It's going to hit the red on the left side. Ooh, wow.
And grab the red one in the back. Cleared the house.
Wow, that.
Excuse me.
That was a really solid shot.
I think Mike's trying to left side 4 foot behind that top yellow.
Yeah.
Definitely wants to be sitting 2 in this. Forces Team Mendoza to draw against 2.
Right now, Siggins is sitting the 1 in the back 8s, and then the second shot looks like it might be either yellow or red at the top of the 12 foot. This shot's
No
coming
sweeping.
down.
This looks okay.
It looks a little heavy, and it's not curling up a lot.
Okay.
So either Mendoza could draw, or it looks like he could just nose hit that out. I don't think he wants to do anything riskier than that. I mean, he could try and there's a possible double, but I don't think he would want to do that given the score and the situation.
Yeah, with the score, I would say follow it down. Maybe back 4-weight. Bumping is okay, but it's just a draw against 2.
Yeah, this is a situation where we were talking about what outcome do you want? You don't want them to steal 2.
No, and that's, I think Mike placed it in a perfect spot because, Team Mendoza, he threw a really heavy shot, and now he's got to throw a draw.
And that's a good point. For people who don't curl a lot, it's really difficult to go from throwing heavy to throwing light. It's just a matter of your precision. It's harder to be so
Doesn't
precise.
look like it's curling that much. They've been sweeping it the whole way.
It has to get there.
Come on, guys. Come on. Good sweeping.
Needs to touch the button. The weight's better now.
And that is why you have sweeping.
And goodness gracious!
Wow. From that heavy shot to a button shot.
That was a couple great throws by both skips.
Yeah, that was a good end.
So a lot of work for one for Mendoza, but that was well earned.
Looks like we got a hammer on sheet 5. Team Howells is possibly drawn for 2. Or whoa.
That's a lot of weight for a draw.
Whoa.
Oh, he's going after the red, the yellow in the corner there. Oh, and it misses.
Okay, I wonder what that. Oh, not even gonna look at it.
So we're calling action on the other sheet. It looks like it made.
Sorry about that, guys.
Was it 1 for Howells?
They were both straddling the back 12, so it must have been clear, but they just kicked the rocks, and with the glare on the window, I can't tell.
Well, we will get you an update when we know. So coming up at 2:30, we have our second game of our triple header. We're going to be shifting sheets, and I think we're going to be featuring Siggins again. Because we're looking at Siggins taking on Maxey.
That will be a great game.
That's why I said it. So that's coming up at 2:30 here at the Southern California Curling Center and at our MoPac YouTube channel. And then we will also have a game at 7:30. I haven't set which game it's going to be. I think we're trying to make that the most competitive game that's still on the ice.
And don't think that's what Mr. Siggins wanted.
The high corner guard that's
Way on the outside, yeah.
That's not guarding anything.
That curled a lot. I don't know if there was something under that or not, but that came over a lot. All right, looks like Team Mendoza is just going to throw another one in. Just walking it down. Ends up where he called it.
So I really wish Christopher Walken would do a podcast.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And it would just be called like I'm Walking Here.
Yes, I would watch it. I'd listen to it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Love that guy.
Just 60 minutes every hour of Christopher Walken talking about whatever. That would make people's commutes, I think, a little brighter.
I think that would brighten everybody's day.
Also, on my imaginary podcast network, it would be James Earl Jones reading the phone book.
Ooh. Okay. All right. All right.
Of course, phone books aren't what they used to be.
Do they even have those anymore?
I think they still sort of do. I haven't seen one in a couple of years.
Well, on sheet 5, that score was another one for Maxie.
So Howells it looks like he had a chance for 2, but unfortunately with that miss, it turned into a steal.
Yeah.
On this sheet, Mendoza gets rid of the red that was in the house.
Yeah.
Keeping it pretty clear of the opponent's stones.
Yeah, I think at this point he's just going to keep everything clean.
So Siggins has the hammer. Is this a situation where you want to score hopefully 2 here and then steal? Actually,
yeah,
2 or 3 here and then steal.
He's starting to run out of ends. He's got to get at least 1. Yeah, he should be playing really tough for 2 to try to steal 2.
Mm-hmm. It's really super hard to steal more than 2. So
yeah, when you're coming down to the last couple ends and you're down 4, you got to have at least 2-3 guards up front to work with.
Oh, that's a much better guard from Siggins. But I think the free guard zone is over.
Free guard is over, so Mendoza's just going to keep hitting anything that's red.
So guard is cleared. The yellow is going to stick around.
Yep. Shooter's sticking around. It's just making it's all the way over on the side, but okay. And Siggins looks like they're going to start trying to freeze to shot.
Well, I mean, because there's not really a lot of cover for him to play with.
Anything exposed is going to just get ripped out of there. So if he comes down and starts freezing to some Yellowstones. Oh, Claire almost fell.
So I don't know if you can hear in the background, but they're doing some curling instruction in the ginormous warm room they have here.
Yes, the warm. I can't wait for these guys to finish off the warm room. This is going to be an amazing club in a few years.
It's already kind of amazing because like a lot of clubs, especially for the viewing area, a lot of clubs they just have like the space behind the houses, and then or sometimes they have it on the side depending on available space. But here they have so much space. They have viewing areas on behind the houses and down the length of the sheet. And it's definitely allowed us a lot of flexibility to have the broadcast and have the scores.
Yes.
And so many tables for people to sit at.
And for you at home that have never been here, the viewing area, we're on the side, and the timers are in the back. And if you see the blue screen behind the timers, that is another part of the warehouse that makes this facility huge.
And one of the great things about the Southern California Curling Center is that they're working to become a part of the community. They're in the city of Vernon, which is just south of LA, but they're having classes. I heard some Spanish being used, so having curling in different languages than American English is pretty good, or Canadian English.
The lady that is doing the instruction, she's part of the women's Mexico team.
Mm-hmm. And Team EVSCO does train here.
Yep.
It's great to see so many different international teams in general, but also them being in the U.S. training.
Yes.
I met someone who wants to curl. I think he's curling for India.
Mm-hmm.
We had Mexico. I know the Nigerian team.
Nigerian just got accepted by the WCF. That's amazing.
Yeah. And a lot of them are on the West Coast, which is also great. Just kind of showing that curling is not just a upper Midwest Canadian thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is not to say it's great in the Midwest and Canada. It's just it's a good thing that we want to keep going as far as we can go.
Yes, and curling anywhere is the best place for it.
I saw that beach curling.
That would be good. Oh, a little raise.
Mendoza has a lot of rocks in these rings.
Definitely putting it. Just tightening the screws on Team Siggins.
The goal for Siggins again is to try and get multiple points with the hammer in this end. Depending on the outcome of this end, if he's still down 3, he's calling a timeout. So if there was a coach, the coach would go out on the ice. But I think you're the only coach here.
I think you're right. Yeah. Team McDonald brought their own coach. I think this is just a time, the teams that don't have coaches, they call the timeout to talk about this for a full minute to really get all 3 or all 4 team members on the same page.
Yeah, because Siggins does not appear to have easy access to the button at this point, and if he takes a shot to do so, are we at Skip Stones already?
1-2, 1-2. Yes, we are at Skip Stones.
He has Siggins has 3 spots remaining.
Oh, okay, there you are. All right. I was looking at the other end.
So Siggins could maybe use one of his stones to kind of wedge open the front of the house.
And I think that's what he's trying to show with his broom. If you hit the top red, yellow goes to his left, red may come over behind that red, but if he hits it hard enough, right where he just put his broom, I think he might open it up, and the red that he's pointing at, when it comes off the yellow, might come all the way through to over there where he just pointed.
But there's not necessarily any sort of way to run the red in at this point.
No, it looks like the top 2 stones overlap just a touch.
And there's the red on the right side is possibly could be driven in, but that's a hard angle.
I would say that he's got 3 rocks. I would say just do the best you can to open it up. There you go.
All right. Well,
because he's got to get at least 1, and then play really, really hard to steal a couple.
So broom down, Claire Blasky is in the hack, and here we go.
Good release.
Got some weight on it, but she needs to move a lot of rocks.
Yeah, she's got to move a lot. Oh, she hits this just right.
Just the
there
one.
You go. There
okay.
You go.
looks like the shooter rolled out of play,
Yeah.
and one of the other red guards also
Hit
rolled
the
through.
sidewall, yeah.
Yeah, but it definitely got rid of two. Were there three or there?
There was 3 rocks plus the shooter.
Yeah.
And she got all of them. Well, shooter stayed,
Yeah.
but it's Siggins rock, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. And it's also in a better position if were he to try and run it back.
Yeah.
So Mendoza looks like he wants to just kind of put one right in the top of the 8 foot.
You even put it right next to the top red, because if he comes in too tight, it could set up getting more than 2 of them out.
But conversely, also he wants to just make sure that he doesn't give up more than
Yep.
one, right? So.
Even a tight guard, mid guard, just
Yeah.
close off that. Because right now, if Team Siggins missed this shot, or Mendoza missed the shot, Mike has a complete double, opens up the house, and is definitely going to get closer to scoring. Not a whole lot of sweeping. Oh, here we go. Oh, it looks a little outside. It's got a curl.
Oh my goodness, that is way wide. It doesn't harm anything.
Yeah, that looked like a lot of broom.
Okay, so it comes to rest alongside the other yellows. So now there's a pocket now for Siggins to play with, although the pocket's in front of the tee line. What is a pocket in front of a tee line called?
Possible double. But it's just a pocket in front of the tee line. It's still controlling that part of the house because it's in front of the tee line.
Mm-hmm.
Mike's looking at, is it hit the outside one?
He can make them all go away with the right
Actually,
shot.
I'm just looking at that now. Hit right where the broom is. The middle yellow hits the right yellow, goes straight back. If he hits the left yellow first, will it clip the one over on the left side? Is the quad there?
So the camera shaking is not because our camera person has, is having problems holding the camera up. They're on lighting stands, and so sometimes when the players step on the boards behind, they
and Mike is throwing
camera.
peel weight.
Okay, let's see if he's got it.
Looks like he might hit it just right.
He's got the one. He's got two almost. Did he stick it out? It's sticking around. So he just gets the one, but he definitely breaks open the space around the button.
There's options on both sides. But Mendoza will guard his, or go after the red on the left, on the right. Sit 3, maybe 4. The yellow one in the back. That looks like it's out counting the red on the top. Well, if you hit this and roll over, Mike's got to do something against 3.
This is the last shot now coming from Paul Mendoza.
Alright, looks like he's got it. Shooter will roll out. Oh, will it jam? Oh, and he got.
But it's a good shot ultimately, I would think.
Yeah, he got that out. He's still sitting, but now it looks like Mike's got a draw. Full 8.
But that's all. He's only going to be able to get the one, unless he goes super
he's
crazy and
gone.
tries to do a triple.
I know I wear glasses, but that almost looks like what he just tapped and thought of. If he's... Oh, those 2 rocks are pretty flat, though.
Yeah, they are. Also, like the key point, you would need to hit the yellow in the 8 foot on the left edge, And then it would. Okay, so you would also need to be able to roll over and make contact with the far left yellow.
And with how flat they are, he'd have to hit this really hard and pretty thick. But if he's thinking that the middle yellow is going to come all the way in the back and get the back one, he's got to hit that pretty thin.
I mean, this is the shot for the game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, seventh end. If he gets one here, I mean, he's still down 3. So yeah, he's got to go for it now.
And that looks to be the shot they have dialed up. Claire has the broom just about 2 inches to the right of that middle yellow rock.
And it looks like sheet 5 is over. And it looks like Maxie gets another win.
And so I think Maxie is
undefeated.
Are they 3-0 or are they 4-0?
3-0.
Okay, here we go. This is a key shot now coming for Michael Siggins. Does he have it? It looks like it's a little thick. Oh, it was too thin.
Yep.
And that's
the end of the game. Well, both teams played pretty well. And
I think it was just a situation where Mendoza was able to score early, scored
early, and it took Mike a few ends to get going. But Team Mendoza they kept steady, played solid.
Yeah, that was a solid win for Team Mendoza.
I know Paul's leg has been hurting, so it must be feeling pretty good today.
Hopefully the rest of the team is feeling pretty good as well. So we're going to wrap up our coverage of the morning draw here. As you just saw on our feature sheet, Team Mendoza defeated Team Siggins by a score of 10-3.
And Team Maxie looks like they shook, and they were up 6-2 at the end of the 6th or 7th. Yeah, they kicked the rocks this way, so I don't think they even played the following end after that. Well, I'm going to say goodbye. I have to go get Team McDonald some lunch before their 2 o'clock game. And it's going to be Feldman and Feldman.
They're playing Mendoza. No, sorry, I apologize. They're playing Stephanie.
Yes, and Katie Feldman, our third, Brian Feldman is mom, so mother-son battle.
I wish I knew that before I was setting the schedule. I made that a feature game.
Oh,
mom versus son.
There you go. They battle a lot. All right, well, looking forward to hopefully doing this again.
Yeah.
But I'll be coaching during that game, taking some pictures. We do have 4 MoPac juniors playing in this event. So I want to promote that MoPac juniors. So if you're a MoPac curling club, and if you have juniors, please reach out to me.
And how would they do that?
You can email me at www.cctour@gmail, or just look me up on Facebook.
Okay, that's Patrick McDonald. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, it is Patrick, not Pat. So yeah, Patrick McDonald on Facebook. I'm on the MoPac website, and I'll soon be posting pics on the MoPac Facebook page with pictures of the juniors playing well.
Well, that's terrific. And please join us again at 2:30, where our featured game is going to be Siggins taking on Maxie. It's a battle of teams from mostly the Coyotes curling club.
Yes, it is.
And then we'll also be back at 7:30 for a game to be determined. But for now, for all of us here at the Southern California Curling Center and MoPac, this has been your host Ryan with Patrick McDonald saying so long and good curling.
Good curling, guys. All right, I just muted that.